So listen, welcome to the first episode of Financial Polygamy with your boy Him500. Financial Polygamy, this is a conversation that we have about diversifying our relationships with our finances, understanding how to have multiple successful relationships when it comes to everything financial, when it comes to our credit, when it comes to having a relationship with the banks, when it comes to having a relationship with earning income, when it having a relationship with investments, you name it. When it comes to money, when it comes to finances, every single thing must be a relationship, and you can't be monogamous in order for you to get wealthy. So that's how we become financial polygamists. That's how we end up on the Financial Polygamist Show. Because this is a conversation that we're gonna have about diversifying our relationships financially and taking everything financially to the next level. So I wanna get started. Today is our first episode of Financial Polygamy. When it comes to financial polygamy, right, everybody, it's always a question of where does it come from? And with financial polygamy, for me, for myself, is that I looked at my relationship, right? I'm married and I'm in a monogamous relationship, but when it comes to marriage and it comes to any relationship, we all know that we have to be a student and always be evolving and always be willing to learn and always be willing to adapt and be giving and be understanding when it comes to having a healthy relationship. And I know for myself, I always tell people, I say, listen, if you dated and when you were dating, you tell somebody, hey, first date, I just want to know how many drinks I got to give you to be able to get you into bed. If a man vocally said that to a woman, a date going in, right? And so when it comes to women, imagine if a woman was like, yo, I wonder how much cleavage I got to show for him to keep taking me out to dinner and buying me free meals, right? Men would be like, yo, I don't want to be here. But when it comes to finances and it comes to investing, when it comes to our credit, when it comes to our business, we only look and think about what we can get from our business. We never analyze what we can do for it. And that's one of the things that have helped me change my life is realizing, yo, listen, figure out what you can do in a relationship and what you can give. What are you offering your relationships that help them flourish, that help them grow, right? And as a married man, I always tell people, listen, married men, and me growing up, I seen it. Married men were more successful or more stable than the single men that I knew and seen. And at that point, what I realized is this. I said, listen, it's not that if you're single, you're not going to be successful, but it's something that happens with the stability in the home and the accountability that you're held to when you respect your marriage, you respect your home. It just holds you to another standard of life. And I started realizing that when it came to business. And when it came to business, I looked at my relationships and I said, listen, I got a single stream of income, right? I'm making money with my financial literacy, my credit repair business. I'm making money with credit, but I'm not investing. Right? I'm not really investing how I should be. Or even before that, I realized that I remember going to the banks trying to get a credit card because I wanted to start a business or I wanted it to help me grow my business. Never did I take the time back to realize, yo, what does this bank want from me? Because this is a relationship. It's a two-part relationship. What does this bank want from me? And so what I looked at was this. I said, listen, I have to be willing to give to the bank, understand what they want from me. They want a good credit score, right? They want a good credit score. And it's not just a score. They want a solid report. They want to be able to see, hey, listen, have you been able to monitor diversify the number of accounts in your credit report? Are you keeping your inquiries low? Is your credit utilization low? All of these things mattered when I went to build this relationship. This is what that was judging me off of. And so what I started focusing on was, listen, let me be the best version I can be. So when I go to present myself and build this relationship, I can get the maximum from it, right? I can get everything that they have to offer, and I'm willing to give everything that I have to offer. I'm willing to be studious. I'm willing to pay my bills on time. I'm willing to use the products to the maximum ability that I can use them to, right? I want to get everything I can out of this relationship, and I want to give them everything I can give them out of me. And so when I started looking at my relationships like that, when I looked at the bank and said, listen, let me treat the bank like I treat my wife. Let me understand what it wants. Let me understand what I need to give it to. Let me understand it and understand that every single year it's not going to be the same person, that I have to continuously grow and adapt to the new ways and the new things that come from this situation with working with the banks. And the reason why I always say working with the banks and building that relationship first was because I didn't come from a trust fund. Like, I'm from Stockton, California. I didn't have much money, right? I come from a middle-class family. We lived in the projects. My mom got her degree, ended up getting a decent job, making $40,000, $50,000 a year, started investing in real estate and understanding things. And that let me know, okay, well, it's more to life, right? It's more to life. But all I've been taught was, hey, to earn income. Investing was never an opportunity. So as I start building, I'm like, yo, let's get to the relationship of money. So I built a great relationship with the banks, and the banks started giving me things that I never knew was possible. That's how I figured out about reward points. That's how I started figuring out all the different perks and benefits and the private, your private concierge for the bank, right? So I'm like, yo, these banks got a lot more to offer than what I thought that they had to offer. So then I realized is that banks have to compete. If you a catch in the market, just like in relationships, you know, if you're a good catch, you're a good man, you're a good woman, everybody out there that want to date you, you know, you got to kind of compete. You got to put your best foot forward. And I started realizing that, wait a minute, the major banks are super popular, but what about the credit unions? So I started laughing. I go, wait, the credit unions have a little more to prove, and they give more access. See, I know I can go to a credit union and get a larger line of credit than I can get from a traditional bank, right? So a DCU or a First Tech credit union is going to give me a little bit more and better interest rates than Wells Fargo or Bank of America, right? So these are all the things that I started playing in my mind going, okay, so now I build a relationship here. So I started realizing that the Wells Fargo's, the Bank of America's, those were the popular banks. And those were the ones that were super popular, and they earned my business just because they were popular. And so in order for me to have the best relationship, I needed to make sure I was compatible. So I actually stopped banking with Bank of America because I didn't like the way their fees were set up. It was certain things I didn't like. I started banking with Chase. And the reason I started banking with Chase because I liked what Chase had to offer for me as a client, as a partner in a relationship, because of the private banking with the Chase Sapphire, the Chase Ink, right? And these different credit cards that Chase offered were things that I desired. And, you know, me being a good partner was something that I knew, okay, well, I'm going to get other bank products and other things from this relationship. Let me hold my money here as well. And so I built a good relationship with them. But then I started building relationships with credit unions. And so when I started building my relationships with credit unions, I started to understand, wait a minute, the credit unions, they give larger lines of credit. So I can go get 10,000 at Chase starting out, but First Tech will give me 20. Navy Federal will give me 25. Okay, so this is where we start to become financial polygamists and start understanding, hold on, what's the best relationship for me? Is it just I want to be with somebody that's popular, or do I want to be with somebody that serves me and is willing to see who I am, see what I have to offer, and pour back into me, right? And so I realized that that the credit unions were willing to pour back into me. Well, now I teach people and I tell people all the time, listen, go to a credit union when you first get your credit cards or you're looking to apply for credit and get credit, because certain credit unions will give you larger lines of credit. See, Navy Federal used to be super popular for giving out large lines of credit. Now everybody's familiar with Navy Federal. Everybody knows about them. They built their brand and they're known for it. Well, guess what? You got 20 other smaller credit unions that now want to compete for the main credit union spot, and they're willing to give out large lines of credit to build their name. That's why DCU Credit Union is one. First Tech, Alliant. There's a lot of different smaller credit unions that you guys have to do research on and just go out and figure out, okay, who's trying to prove themselves? And then also, why do I need larger lines of credit when I'm starting to first build my credit? The reason being is because when you start to actually get credit cards, right, it's going to reflect on your personal credit. And if I can get a $20,000 credit card reflecting on my personal credit, and I can go to 3 different credit unions, right? And what I like to do is go to 3 different credit unions that I go to, I like to go to 3 different credit unions that pull from different credit bureaus. So I will go to a credit union that's going to pull from Equifax, a credit union that's going to pull from Experian, a credit union that's going to pull from TransUnion. So now I got 3 different credit cards from 3 different institutions, but I only got 1 inquiry across the board. Now what happens is that now I have $20,000 credit cards across the line. That's $60,000 in capital. As an entrepreneur building a relationship, we go, yes, I got it, right? That's like when you finally hit your home run in your relationship, you're like, yeah, I got it. But then you start to understand that it's deeper than that, right? It's deeper than it just getting that home run. Now that you got that capital, you understand that, okay, but I can leverage this because now I have a different kind of connection with you. Now I'm in the bed with the banks. So now we got a whole nother connection that we can take it to the next level. And what I tell people is this, I say, listen, that's the first credit cards, and those are on your personal lines. Well, you build those up and you leverage those, you hold those for about 6 months, let them age. Then you set up and establish a business. Once you establish a business, guess what happens? Now when you go to the popular banks like Chase, Wells Fargo, right? When you start going to those banks, now guess what happened? Is that now off the business side, because you have large lines on your personal, they'll be willing to give you $50,000. They'll be willing to give you $75,000 credit cards with a properly built out report. And see, this is what comes into play is that you've facilitated healthy relationships and they can see it. So now when it comes to the banks, now you getting $50,000, $75,000. Let's say you got, you're going to get credit cards. You don't have to bank with Bank of America to get a credit card. But Bank of America has a rule that they'll give you 2 credit cards in 30 days. They'll give you 2 credit cards. They'll give you 3 credit cards in 12 months, in a year. And they'll give you 4 credit cards in 2 years. That's the max amount of credit cards that you can get from them. The cool thing about Bank of America's 2-3-4 rule is that you can get 2 credit cards in 30 days. If you go and get 2 credit cards in 30 days, what happens is that you can get 2 credit cards at the same time. So now you get 2 business credit cards there. Well, guess what happens next? The next move is that now you go to another bank that pulls from another bureau. Like you can go to a Chase. Chase has a 524 rule that you have to understand. And with Chase, they got a 524 rule. You can get 5 credit cards in 24 months, but they look at all reports across the board. And you have to understand your partner. This is what comes into, with these relationships, you got to understand it, right? Like you got to know if your girl, can't drink vodka, right? If she drink vodka, we're going to be fighting tonight, right? Like I understand my girl. Like, I know if she drinks some vodka, nah, we going to butt heads and we going to both have attitudes. We can't do it, right? But that tequila, nah, we good. We good. I know tequila, she going to be cool. We going to have a good time. That's it. We can have a good night and we won't have too much of a hangover. I understand it. See, these are things that you got to understand when it comes to the banks. So with Chase, you got a 524 rule. Well, with that 524 rule is that you can't get more than 5 credit cards in 24 months or they shut your whole account down, right? At all relationships, they'll cancel all your credit cards with them if you get more than 5 credit cards in 24 months, including theirs. That's why business credit cards are important because they don't show on your credit report and they can't see it. These are the things that we must understand about our relationship, right? So now we say, okay, and how do they know? Because when you sign up for Chase, nobody reads the contract. Nobody reads contracts. So when you sign up for Chase, people don't know that you actually gave them the right to do a soft pull on your credit report. So they'll come back and do a soft pull later and check and see how many credit cards you got. And so you always want to be mindful when it comes to that, is that, okay, they got a 524. Let me look up the bank's rules. You can go to U.S. Credit Card Guide, a few other resources online. Always check the resources online because those resources could tell you what the bank's rules are of how they approve credit cards, what's their rules on how many credit cards they'll allow you to get. And so now this is how we start to build our first relationship. So we're building a relationship with the banks. And I'm able to go to certain banks and get 50,000. Let's just say 50,000 from 3 different banks. That's 150,000 on top of the other 60,000 that you already had. That's $210,000, but 150,000 of that 210 won't even show on your credit report. See, these are when I say, like, we have to understand how to maximize the relationship. Most of the time, people will go get a $10,000 credit card, and that $10,000 credit card, they're like, man, I didn't spend this time working on my credit. I got 10,000. Man, I'm a burn it. I always tell people, listen, don't be the person to try to go for the quick one-night stand, right? Don't go in for the kiss too early, right? You don't want to be that person, because what happens is that you now get a $10,000 credit card and you rushed into it. You're not even ready you're not even focused on you as the partner to the banks. You're not even focused on that. What you're focusing on is yourself. You're focusing on, yo, I know what I need. I'm just trying to go get what I need, and that's it. You putting lipstick on the pig, try to make yourself look as best as you can and go get something quick that you can, right? And reality is this. If I just tell people, don't go looking for credit. Don't go looking for credit until you understand your finances. Can you manage your money, right? Can you manage your money? Do you have a budget in place? If you make $5,000 a month, how much of that money are you able to save? Are you able to actually create a savings plan before you go start getting credit and putting yourself in a position to bury yourself in debt, because it can go left and this can be a negative, deadly weapon, right? Are you able to keep yourself out of debt? Do you have positive cash flow and an uptrend in your finances? Are you saving more money every single month? Are you making more money every single month, right? These are the things that's super important. Before you ever go chase credit, make sure that your finances is together. So now, once you actually go and get these lines of credit, now you say, okay, well, I got an upward trend, so I'm not going to go into debt. So now that I got $210,000 in lines of credit, it's not that I needed to live. I don't want you to go get $10,000 in a line of credit and you got $2,000 in debt and you can't pay your rent next month. What's going to happen? You're going to use that credit card, clear the $2,000 you had in debt and pay your rent, and now you just buried yourself in more debt, because that debt didn't disappear. That $2,000 just transferred. That rent that you couldn't pay just transferred somewhere else, and you still got that debt. And next month, it's going to roll around again. So you want to be mindful, like, listen, let's not bury myself. Let me get it together first financially where, okay, I'm on an upward trend before I go and say, yo, let me go out here and start extending and asking for lines of credit. Because when you go and get that first 20,000, at that point, that money gonna burn a hole in your pocket. See, the key to success is in the habits before you actually get the capital. So now when you got the capital, you like, okay, I've been studying, I'm looking for different businesses, I'm looking for different ways to invest, different opportunities that I can get into to take my business to the next level. And that's the key. And in today's society, it's a lot of ways that you can start being an entrepreneur. You can start being a business person. You can start investing. It's a lot of different ways that you can do it. For example, I tell people, listen, there's an app called Neighbor. You may have a nice backyard or a driveway or, you know, a garage, and you wouldn't mind parking your car outside your garage and actually renting out a space on an app called Neighbor. You could rent the space out in your garage. You can rent it to people for storage. You could rent, if you got an extra room, you can rent it for storage. If you got a backyard, you can rent that out. I literally have somebody who makes $800 a month by renting out their driveway to people who have RVs. They make $800 extra bucks a month. That's good money. These are things when it's tell you like, yo, establish relationships with your money. Establish relationships when it comes to earned income. Establish relationships when it comes to semi-passive income. Establish relationships when it comes to passive income. And establish relationships when it comes to investments. These are all things that are super mandatory and super necessary. And so what I want you to be mindful of is this. I want you to say, listen, I know now Him500 gave me the game on how to go to the bank, some of the banks that I can go to and actually get a bag. So I know what's possible, but am I in the position to take advantage of it yet? Am I in the position to take it to the next level and be a good partner in this situation? Am I able to be a good partner in this relationship? And do I have what it takes to commit to this for 6 months to a year? See, A lot of times we think and say, yo, I can go get 210,000. I just gave you a blueprint to go get 200,000 plus. But it may take you 6 months to work on your credit. It may take you got to hold the credit cards for 6 months on the personal side. So this might be a year blueprint, but we've been working, or you've been working. I remember working for $32,000 a year, and I was okay with working for $32,000 a year. So now what I look at is say, listen, when it comes to becoming stable financially and becoming financially free, how much time are you willing to devote for it? Do you need it tomorrow? Or are you okay with saying, okay, I got a plan to execute for me to be able to go out and gain $250,000 in financing and funding to have available to me, as well as in the next 2 years as I'm building my credit, holding credit cards, letting them season on my report. Before I go into the business side, I'm okay with working and figuring out how to save and make an extra $1,000, $2,000 a month, $3,000 a month by doing creative things like understanding Neighbor or setting up affiliate programs and becoming an affiliate for other brands. If you're not the person for social media and you're like, yo, I don't got nothing to really run, you literally can be a person who goes, okay, let me start making more money because I need to develop my earned income. I don't want to work a 9 to 5. And you say, yo, well, I can go and get an affiliate link, right, for another brand. And I can go get an affiliate link. When I go get the affiliate link, I can pay an influencer to post it and pay the influencer to post it and promote my affiliate link and get paid off of it. Just another way to help me generate income streams, right? I have, like for me, myself, I've developed several different affiliate programs where I get paid off of somebody else's business. I don't got to fulfill the customer service. I don't got to fulfill the actual product or whatever it is that they're purchasing. Has nothing to do with me. All I get paid for was making a referral. I like to do the ones that actually have a monthly reoccurring. So that way I get paid every single month. And every single month, this influencer, as it grows, I'll pay them to just keep endorsing the business. My affiliate link just keeps growing. Just like Neighbor, it's another way to make money. It's a lot of ways for us to generate capital so we can have a solid foundation before we actually go to the next level and say, okay, I'm trying to go into debt. Like, let's get our finances together. Let's establish our credit report. Let's establish our lines of credit. And from there, let's continuously take it to the next level. This helps us become financially free, and it helps us become financial polygamists because we're now understanding how to be a good person and a good partner in a relationship that we're developing. And it's super important to develop healthy relationships within your finances, within your personal life. Look at everything like a relationship. The business that you currently have, what are you currently giving? Are you studying your partner? Are you studying your business? You always have to be a person who studies their business to really take it to the next level. And these are the things that's going to help you become a financial polygamist. This is our first episode, y'all. Let's go.